Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AITA. In today's episode, AITA for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud? Update, AITA for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud? AITA for free bleeding at my MIL's house? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. AITA for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud? Backstory: I, 27F, and my boyfriend, 34M, have been together 5 years and have worked really hard to save for a house. 2 weeks ago we fell in love with a house and we put down an initial deposit to hold the property. The house won't be built until end of 2022. We have been in talks with a mortgage broker and the builder's finance people. Last week we received some shocking news when my boyfriend's credit score came back as being bad. There was activity on the statement that was 100% not his and a credit card that has gone into default over the last 6 months. This credit card was originally my boyfriend's, but he swears he closed the account and cancelled the card mid-2019. Long story short, we discovered that a family member that was living with him a few years ago has gotten a hold of the card at some point and has been using the card on and off since 2019. They defaulted on payments in early 2020 but paid this off, then defaulted again in December of last year, and the account is still in default and over $5,000 is owed in charges and late fees. Charges for shopping, news agency, takeaway food in pubs, gambling. My boyfriend has had zero knowledge of this as he hasn't had access to the account after he closed it, and hasn't been receiving statements or notices from the bank. The family member has diverted these to their address. We're now unable to successfully apply for a bank loan for our house as they won't lend to my boyfriend with his credit the way it is. Our options are to 1. Proceed with fraud investigations and charges in the family member, allowing us to prove this is of no fault of my boyfriend's and successfully secure the loan. Or 2. Boyfriend pays the debt and we wait at least 2 years from the payoff date for his credit to regain some loss. Option 2 sets us back at least 3 years in starting a family and our lives as homeowners. This will also not allow my boyfriend to secure a bank loan to start up his own business he's been dreaming of starting for a few years. This was the year he planned on. This has devastated us and put a massive delay in our plans. My boyfriend doesn't like conflict and is going with option 2. He isn't even planning on mentioning anything to the family member. He wants it to all go away and thinks this family member is going through a rough time. I want my boyfriend to proceed with fraud charges and investigation. We have worked too hard to not have our dream house and him owning his own business. So AITA for pushing my opinion on my boyfriend? NTA. But is this really someone you want to build a life with, having this kind of baggage? He's willing to pay off a debt incurred by someone fraudulently and not even address it with that person. What happens if this person does it again? He's already taught them there's no consequences if they spend money they don't have. And then it will be tied to you as well. You need to think long and hard about whether this is something you want to deal with long term. I do think it's odd he's willing to pay for it and not address it with the person that incurred the debt. Are you sure the person didn't have permission to keep using it as long as they paid the bill? Are you sure the debt isn't his and he just hid it well? Been there, done that with a family member, destroying my credit, stealing money out of my bank accounts, writing bad checks, stealing my engagement and wedding ring to pawn it. I had to pay to get out on the last day. He needs to report in order to fight with credit agencies and attempt to get these debts resolved. Also place a fraud alert and lock his credit reports so no one else can use his identity. NTA. NTA. If it was me, I'd think long and hard about staying WM if he chooses to. He'll always be a doormat. Absolutely this. His decision affects them both. NTA, but it might be a losing battle. This will affect both of your future, and he's making a decision where the people who did wrong get no consequences and the innocent people get further screwed, all in the name of avoiding conflict. His response of the relative going through a hard time is cowardice and nothing more. He's showing empathy to the relatives who screwed him over with fraud, and is willing to put your future on hold. 2 to 3 years is a lot, and it could be longer because life happens. He's having no empathy for you, who is collateral in this mess. He chooses the path of least resistance, and if you agree to postpone your life to protect these jerks, you will confirm to him that you are that path. Every time he has to choose who to screw over, he'll choose to spare the rest because you will create the least amount of hassle for him to deal with. That's not fair to you. You can't control what he does in the end, you can only control your actions. If he chooses to spare his family, then I'd remove myself from the situation and leave. NTA, where was this family member's compassion when they stole and defaulted your husband's credit card? Were they thinking about you guys? You should sue him and go ahead with your plans. They had it coming. I agree, there is clearly no compassion. They wouldn't have even thought about the consequences for my boyfriend and me. One of them being we were going to try for a baby mid-next year before completion of our house. Are you sure it's not your boyfriend that has done the spending? It just seems odd that the other relative paid of the debts at one point in the past. Also, surely your automatic first reaction would be anger towards the family member and you would say something straight away? That's what I'm thinking. He's 34 and in the market to buy a house, yet never checks his credit? Then when this comes to light, he doesn't even want to address it with his cousin. Update: AITA for asking my boyfriend to charge his family member for fraud? I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns and was honest with him that things he was telling me didn't all make sense. He was adamant he didn't know anything about the credit card or the apparent inquiries on his credit account about payday loans. My boyfriend is still refusing to open any fraud investigations against his family member and has said he will pay off the debt himself. But some other things came out during our conversation that he was hiding from me. Lying has been a big issue of his during our whole relationship. In the past, I have forgiven him for his lies, but I can't keep forgiving the same issue every few months when he promises to change, but we're in the same spot every few months. And I'm not talking little lies, I'm talking big lies and even bigger lies to cover up those lies. I know I'm stupid for giving him the benefit of the doubt. So in saying this, my boyfriend is now my ex-boyfriend. When I spoke with my boyfriend about my concerns above, he ended up picking up his bag and walking out on me and drove away. That was the last time I seen him in person. This is how this man dealt with an issue in our 5-year relationship. We haven't spoke much since, but I have definitely resigned to the fact my relationship is over. I think he is expecting me to forgive him like all the previous times. I have packed up his stuff and will return to him after my city comes out of our 6th lockdown. There is a good ending to this story though. I spoke with my mortgage broker and the housing developers. I can't afford the original townhouse I fell in love with alone, but a smaller townhouse that I also loved came available and I've been approved for this one. I paid my deposit 3 days before my birthday last month. I bought a house by myself. Congratulations! You bought a house and got rid of excess baggage. You will love owning your own space. Literally and metaphorically. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Congrats on your home purchase. Your ex did you a favor. Now you can start fresh. Good for you. The problem with a liar is that they never quit. You constantly need to keep an eye on them like some kind of child. That's not what you want in a relationship. 100%. I knew things would be iffy and off with things he would tell me, and sometimes he forgot what he would tell me and say something different. When I would confront him about things not making sense, he would gaslight me and make me think I was imaging things, and I would second guess myself. It would drive me nuts. I just want to say that you are never stupid for loving someone and trusting them and wanting them to be their best selves. It is his fault he lied to you, not your fault that you believed him. If he wasn't so dishonest, then your decision to trust would have been fine. It's his lies that made it a bad decision, not yours for trusting him. That whole story about the scorpion and the monkey does not apply to humans, because humans can choose not to sting. Congratulations on the new house and for realizing that you deserved much better. I'm over the moon for you and I truly wish you all the best XX. I'm glad you aren't with him anymore, he disappeared, but great opportunities have popped up in his place. Take good care of yourself. I'm guessing you are also from the merry old land of madness that is Australia right now. Look after yourself and congrats on the house. Congratulations on the new house. And well done on being brave enough to walk away from the relationship. The fact that he is willing to give up his chance of buying a house, taking out a loan to start up his dream business and lose his girlfriend of 5 years rather than make a family member face up to their criminal behavior and let them just ruin his own life while he can never truly be your partner. It was absolutely right you walked away and I wish you luck in finding happiness with someone you deserve. AITA for free bleeding at my MIL's house? To start, free bleeding is essentially not wearing any form of protection on your period, so you are bleeding freely, clues in the name. I'm currently staying at my MIL's house with my husband for a family get-together, 6 birthdays in 1 week. I have horrifically painful periods and bad mobility. I cannot use cups and am allergic to all brands of pad I've used, rashes on all genitalia, which does not feel good. I do have cloth pads, but I only brought a couple small ones for my trip as I wasn't due on until days after we got home, but we're on day 4 of our trip and I started my period on our first night. I tried to use some disposable pads I picked up, but I broke out in a rash and have blisters everywhere they should not be, so 2 days ago I decided to say what the hell and free bleed like I do at home. I bring my own towels to my MILs, so I have been sitting and sleeping on those. I have bled through twice, but cleaned the mess and left no stain. My MIL is pissed off to say the least. She's disgusted by my lack of decorum and carrying my bloody towel around everywhere. She also hates that I'm washing them in her machines and is now saying we need to pay to have them professionally cleaned, which we will do. Everything kinda came to a head last night when she lost it on me for behaving like an animal. She wants me to leave, but my husband stay, which isn't possible. 1 car, I can't drive that far, especially not with the amount of pain I'm in. My husband is on damage control, but I just feel so shitty. Am I in the wrong here? I understand that it's not super sanitary, but my health matters more than some bed sheets. I'll replace them if she wants. I'm close to just gritting my teeth through the pain and putting a pad on, but I really don't want to. I don't want open sores down there when we're driving home. Sitting for that long will suck. AITA? I feel like I'm choosing the lesser of 2 evils, but now I don't know. YTA. This is completely unsanitary and disgusting to do in someone else's home. You do have options you know can work, including period panties. You should have come prepared. Period suppression is also an option with contraceptives for the future. Free bleeding in someone else's home is never an option. The better option would have been to leave, and if your husband needed to leave in order to facilitate that, that's fine. One must have quite a sense of entitlement to spill their biohazard all over someone else's home and property. Absolutely wild. I agree she should not have intentionally free bled all over the house. I disagree that it has anything to do with entitlement. It seems very clear to me it is because of pain. YTA. Listen, I'm a woman and I suffered for decades with horrifically painful endometriosis pain. Periods where I bled through a tampon and pad in 1 to 2 hours. It was bad. I'm also allergic to pretty much every pad. So I get it. I really do. But you're the A. This is not appropriate on any level. This is your MIL's home and it should be respected. Not I'll replace the sheets. If this is a major issue, you should have prepared better. And if you did bring your cotton reusable pads, why aren't you washing them, even by hand, and drying them to use? This is crazy and you're in the wrong. YTA. What in the hell did I just read? You can't just bleed all over someone's house. YTA, if you want a free bleed, that's fine, just do it in your own home. It is disgusting to do it in someone else's home. It is rude and inconsiderate of you. YTA. You are carrying a bloody towel around at a family event. Free bleeding on furniture, sheets, etc., and your only response is to acknowledge that it isn't super sanitary but to continue to do it. On 3 days you had plenty of time, or your husband did, to explore local options for reusable pads, period underwear or other alternatives and haven't done it. The walking around with a bloody towel would have been the end of it for me. It's attention-seeking behavior as it not being properly prepared for your menses when you know you have unique needs during that time. YTA. Let me start by saying that I do not believe that periods are something to be ashamed of or hidden. But your period should be treated like any other bodily fluid. You don't go around showing people the snot in your tissue after you blow your nose. You don't poop in the backyard so everyone can go look at it. You don't bleed all over your clothes and a towel, then carry them all over the house with you to keep bleeding on. I'm sensitive to the bleaching agents used to sterilize pads. I use cloth pads or period underwear. And because I know I can't just pop out and buy a packet of pads, I take enough self-care items with me anytime I go away just in case. I take steps to ensure no one else has to deal with my issue. You didn't. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.